I could not believe my eyes when I saw what happened to silver today, but indeed it is reality. It has made a dramatic move, bucking the trend of every other precious metal out there today. I'm going to explain what happened in this surprise move for silver as we explore. It is defying the odds, there's no question about that. It has surprised me greatly to see that silver is actually up today with every other precious metal down. So what gives? What's behind this recent move here with silver? As I had fully expected the bloodbath to continue with silver as it has with the markets and everything else today. Although the markets are not quite as down as much as they were on Friday, they are indeed still down. In fact, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 349 points moments before the markets close, and the S&P 500 is down as well. But the Nasdaq is having a little bit of a recovery here, not by much, but the dollar has strengthened up a bit. It's up 0.91 to 103.51. The New York Stock Exchange is down, and the other markets are kind of mixed, but mostly to the downside. Crude oil is also down to 61.02. See, what happened earlier in the day is a rumor had been bantered about of a potential pause of tariffs for 90 days. Some big billionaire had floated that idea out there, and I guess it had gotten reported that the pause would occur and that Trump administration was open to such a thing. Turns out that was not the case and is not the case. And so the markets had originally recovered and went to the positive territory before going back down after finding out that it was fake news, so to speak, and that the tariffs are still on as directed. So I think that kind of minimized some of the damage to the markets, which means that tomorrow could be another day. We'll see what happens there. Be prepared for, a terrible Tuesday, I guess you would say, in the markets. But right now, moments before the markets close, gold is down 1.74%, down $52.90 today to $2,986.90. So below $3,000 an ounce for gold. Silver, though, on the other hand, is up 1.5%, up 45 cents to $30.16. Platinum and palladium are down, and rhodium dropped also $150. So in this type of situation, it may be a good time to consider gold as a price has pulled back, as the blood is in the streets for most of the other markets here, except for silver. My friends at Summit Metals have great deals on gold, fractional gold especially, and these are not prices we've not seen for a little while. So, buying the dip is something to consider if your budget allows. Of course, I still think silver's a good price too, at right around $30 and change. So there is that. So check out summitmetals.com. But what an amazing ride we've been on the past couple of days here. And I was absolutely shocked to see that silver has performed the way it has here today. And what's happening is the analysts are saying that silver price has recovered to around above $30 an ounce during the trading hours, and it edges higher as the fear of tariff wars and the potential global recession boost the safe haven demand. So in other words, silver is acting like gold today, and gold is not acting like gold today. It's falling. It's being hurt by the downside in the market. But that is an unusual analysis to see that silver is going to act as a precious metal, as a safe haven asset. Oh, God forbid, right? Crazy. But in reality, that's what silver is. The market is seeing it that way instead of as an industrial metal. Because we all know that a recession really is bad news for silver because there's going to be less demand for the metal. But it has witnessed heightened volatility since last week in response to the U.S. imposing reciprocal trade tariffs on key trading partners, mounting fears of a recession over the impact of a global trade war triggered by Trump's reciprocal tariffs, and especially with China. Furthermore, strong industrial demand, especially from new age industries like EVs and solar energy, creates tailwinds for silver, and gains are also expected in the consumer electronics market, as the development of artificial intelligence systems will continue to boost product offerings. And I don't think there's going to be much slowdown in that area, by the way. In some ways, you could probably consider AI developments recession-proof. And that's going to need a lot of computing power and a lot of silver for that. And what we'd have looking ahead here is the CPI inflation data. Trump mentioned in a tweet or X post that essentially that inflation has stopped, but it is not stopped. Although certain different measures of it in between indicate such a thing, but we'll see what happens with the CPI report when it comes out. Nonetheless, the Federal Reserve, too, is under pressure to lower rates. And if they do that, that's going to bode well for gold and silver. But right now, silver is reacting like a precious metal. The dollar index being up right now today is something that, we're seeing here that is usually works against silver. But indeed today, silver is bucking the trend. It is certainly acting on its own. Now, this move has narrowed the gold to silver ratio greatly. Gold to silver ratio is now below 100 again, but it's barely below 100. It's at 99.55 right now. Still takes 100 ounces of silver to buy an ounce of gold at this moment. But I think that in spite of today's good news with regards to silver climbing up a little bit and bucking the trend, tomorrow's a new day. And we could see these prices fall again as there's more nervousness in the markets. And, tepid investors out there likely will probably see this uptick and maybe take profits from it because they want to get out before the price falls back down again. Emotions drive the markets. Trump also tweeted or X posted about that as well, about being strong and being patient and persistent. And I would encourage you as silver stackers to do the same, to hold on to the silver that you have in the physical form. And even in ETFs as well, too. Ride this storm out. Sooner or later, some of this stuff is going to normalize. We're going to see what happens as we watch these markets. But nonetheless, one thing is for sure, silver prices will fluctuate. And today's little victory lap or little shock reaction is an example of what could be coming down the road as people see, in a sense, maybe opportunities in silver, considering that it is at such a low price compared to gold and other commodities, by the way, too. There is some potential there with silver. And so investors can get back in, and it's going to take those who are investing in it as a commodity in the ETF space in order for that to happen. But for those of us who stack the physical, I think it's a good idea to add a little bit more to our stacks in the physical form in order to protect ourselves in many different ways and aspects with the silver products in your possession in the form of coins, rounds, and bars. So that's what I believe in, and that's how I buy silver and how I hedge against economic instability, by having the physical in my possession. So important. So there it is. Now, again, we can take a slight victory lap today, but tomorrow is a new day. And what do you think? I did a poll in last night's live stream. I do a live stream every Sunday night where we'll watch the markets, and it was a very exciting, and a lot of folks were there last night. And many of you were thinking that we're going to see silver prices continue to fall back some as the week goes on. Instead, it bucked the trend today, but it doesn't mean it can't happen tomorrow and the next day. There is a lot of pressure on silver right now, and so we'll see what happens. If the CPI report shows cooler than expected inflation in the United States, it could lift the greenback and drag the U.S. dollar-denominated commodity price in the near term. So in other words, we could see the price get pressured a little bit more if the CPI numbers show what Trump is claiming here. We'll find out. And so there's a lot of different factors at play we got to keep in mind here with regards to silver. But in the end, tomorrow we'll see what happens. We're going to keep an eye on it. But in the meantime, hold on, press on with silver, and we'll see how it plays out. Inflation numbers come in, and even if it comes in even right at 2%, that's still inflation. And the dollar is something that has lost value since its inception in its current form way back in 1913. So there you have it. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. I hope you found this video informative, insightful, and educational. Would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.